Hello, this is Dr. Terry Daniels. Welcome to the Rhythm of Business podcast interview series. This morning we have as our guest Tamara Fyke, who is with BlueWonder Creative Inc. out of the Nashville, Tennessee area. Tamara, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And if you want to just kick us off and get us started, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and we'll go from there.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me, Terry. I appreciate it. So my name is Tamara. I have been in the Nashville area for about 30 years. I moved here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I have been in both the nonprofit and for-profit business world since 1996, and currently am focused on providing mental health and well-being resources for kids, families, schools, and communities.
Wow, that is awesome. So, what inspired you, Tamara, to go into this entrepreneurial space? Have you always been there? Is it something that you've always desired? What inspired you to take the leap into?
My dad, my dad was an entrepreneur, and so I grew up watching him. Um, he he had multiple jobs, so he had his own company that he ran in Western Pennsylvania, and then he also was a pastor at a church. So I always saw him model that bivocational career path, and then just watching how he was able to integrate his business with family and the freedom that it gave him to be present for my brother and I
Yeah.
when we had basketball games or special events. Dad was able to be present. I mean, he worked really, really hard, and there were times that, his hours were long, but he was also able to navigate so that he was able to put family first.
You know what, I tell you what, that is special. Again, I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor for more than 30 years. So
Really?
oh,
Okay.
absolutely. So I know that world, and my family has made similar statements. But that is a tribute to you and your family, how you've taken that and watched that, and now you've leaped in and you got the nonprofit and for-profit types of work behind you. And so you've had your organization for how long? Tell me a little bit about BlueWonder.
So I founded the nonprofit in 1996
Okay.
and did the work of Love in a Big World, which we provided at the very beginning. We were providing school assembly programs, curriculum, professional development, and we still do that, just in a different way that I'll explain. So did that for many years as a nonprofit and raised grant funding and the whole nine. And then in 2019, converted that work to a for-profit entity. I still maintain the nonprofit, and we will resurrect that in a new way soon. We already have plans for that, but focused now on the for-profit entity.
Wow, wow. So as a business owner, what are you think are some of the misconceptions that people that may want to find that rhythm and find that energy to step out there and take that leap? What are some of the misconceptions of being a business owner that you think people may not know of?
I think people might think that being your own boss is easy. It's not. It's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of administrative things that I have to tend to that are not my favorite, like all the paperwork and reporting for the state or the government, just the minutia of running a business that, people really see the exciting work that you're doing with customers or the marketing efforts that you put forth. But that backbone of admin is integrally important. Like, you can't have a business without taking care of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not the fun stuff. At least not for me. But I think that's one of the misconceptions, and just it's long hours, my kids who are older now, they're 26, 21, and 18. They have said to me, we don't want to do what you do, because they know there's been a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Um, and yet it's that trade-off that I mentioned before. My entire career, I've been able, I'd say 95% of the time, to work from home, even before working from home was a thing with COVID, which gave me the flexibility to be there for my kids, especially as a single mom.
Yeah.
Um, but they've also seen the long hours. They've seen the investment that I've put into the company
Mhm.
with, and the efforts I've made with the hopes of a bigger return later. So, I don't know that everybody always realizes the sacrifices involved, and that does include your family.
Absolutely. So how have you found that rhythm, that balance that I mean we could call it work-life balance or life-life balance? What are some things you've done to sort of keep that balance with, raising children and managing the business, working? What are some of those habits that you've tried to incorporate?
I have loved working from home. I mean, like I said,
Mhm.
I started the work of the nonprofit in 96, even before my oldest was born. And
Mhm.
just being able to have a call, put in a load of laundry, come back to the computer, do the next task,
Mhm.
that there's a rhythm in that. There's freedom. If I'm
Mhm.
problem solving a particular situation that has arisen while I go make a banana bread
Yeah.
for my youngest, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
this, an understanding too, Terry, that sometimes, and this is what one of my mentors taught me a long time ago, sometimes you just need to think on the problem that is being presented. You don't have to make an immediate response. So we call that noodling. And you can noodle while you're
Yeah.
doing other things. You're still working,
Yeah.
but it's not, you know, right there on the keyboard or making a presentation to a group. It's doing the hard work of thinking through the best strategy. And I'm really thankful for that. That's helped me have a balance as well.
Wow, such wisdom. Just, that noodling is excellent. Such wisdom. Just think on it. Just think on it.
Mhm.
So when you think about the passion you have for your work and your business, obviously as you grow, you have to bring other people into your fold.
Mhm.
Uh, and as you bring people into the fold, how do you manage the passions of other people or the lack of passion for what you want to see? How have you accomplished that and worked through that?
I take time to train them.
Mhm.
And, but I think even before the training takes place, it's finding mission driven people,
Oh yeah.
people who work with a sense of purpose beyond themselves, people who buy into the values of what we're doing for
Mhm.
children, families, schools, and communities, especially in the type of work that we do. That's incredibly important.
Mhm.
Um, and then again, taking the time to train them and build a culture of care so that they know I care about them, I care about our customers.
Yeah.
I want that to be reciprocated so that they care about me and they care about our customers. And so putting those things first, and relationship, I'm a big proponent of building
Yeah.
healthy relationships with people that I work with and
Mhm.
getting to know them as people, not just
Yeah.
widgets,
Yeah.
so that they know, like, this is a human thing that we're doing. It's not just about the money.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tamara, you're again, it's impressive just listening to you and how you're doing what you do and finding that rhythm, finding that balance with people, your passions, their work. I think you're exactly right. How do I find people that have purpose and mission, that align with what we're trying to achieve, and that makes the task a whole lot easier. So as you look at your business, where do you see your next growth phase? I know you talked about reviving another ministry that's been idle for a little while. What's the next thing for Creative Wonder and how do you BlueWonder, I'm sorry. And how do you expand your business?
Yes, that's a great question. So, with BlueWonder Creative, we have two brands that we work with, and one is our legacy brand, Love in a Big World. And the next
Mhm.
step forward with that is partnering with Reconnecting Youth, which is another company that provides tier 2 and tier 3 support to students at risk in our schools across the country. So we're partnering with them as well as with Kelvin Education. So finding those collaborative opportunities with other organizations, other companies, is really key to our growth with that brand. And then expanding into other arenas. And we've been present and working in the Middle Tennessee area for a long time, but we have worked across the country. Now we're looking at how do we expand with more intentionality into Houston, Texas.
Ooh,
Yes, yeah, we're really excited about that. And then with Brave Up, which is our digital platform for mental health and well-being for kids ages 8 to 14 and their families, we are partnering with children's hospitals and other mental health initiatives. And so today, at, which is March 20th, 2024, we have our MVP available, and that's a huge milestone for us. And now the next step is to bring on pilot users, whether those are individual families or individual companies that want to pilot with us for a short time so that we can get the feedback and keep iterating because it's a software
wow.
platform. So just moving through that pilot stage, and then we're also pitching for funding. So continuing to have those meetings with angel investors or others who want to get involved with the work. So there's pretty clear path with both. And then we'll just keep moving forward because our goal is to be the premier provider of mental health and well-being resources for children, families, schools, and communities around the world.
That clarity right there with that last statement is just incredible. And congratulations on your MVP and on March 20th, 2024. Congratulations with that. I'm just impressed with just listening to you. You really have a real passion that's obvious. So thank you for that. Um, Last question. Are you with me? I think I lost you. Are you there?
I am. It
Okay.
paused for a moment. I don't know why.
Okay, so it may have been mine. So again, thank you so much. Great passions. Last question. As you're thinking back to those moments where you're ready to launch, I know you said you're always watched your family in this entrepreneurial space, but as you're launching your own, you're sitting with that piece of paper in your hand and that dream that's in your spirit, and like, I want to do this. What do you say to that person that is thinking about it, hesitating, has a great idea, has a great dream within themselves? What do you say to that person? What do you say to Tamara 5 years ago or 10 years ago when she was thinking about stepping out there? What do you say to this person that may go into entrepreneurship?
I'd say a few things. First, I'd say make sure that your vision is clear and
Mm,
your mission is clear, because coming out of the gate with a lack of clarity will cause incredible delays and also frustrate you and frustrate others that you're trying to work with.
yeah, yeah.
So the clearer you can articulate what it is you're trying to do, the better. The second I would say is find mentors,
Mm,
because even as much as you know or think you really don't know. So find people who are
mhm.
smarter than you
Absolutely.
and who are kind and who will teach you along the way. And then the third thing I would say is don't give up, um, because you'll want to give up
Yeah,
more times than you can imagine.
yeah.
And if you really feel like this is the calling that God has on your life, I'm a big believer um, in calling and in God. I mean, that's just me. So I would not have stayed with this work as long as I have unless I knew this was my life's purpose. And I think that kind of conviction and passion is what is needed in order to endure, because the landscape of small business or entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
And understanding too that this journey will, it's not just about the development of your business, it's about your own personal development. It will
Mhm.
challenge you. It will bring up all the things that you didn't want to deal with, and you'll be faced with them. And you have to be willing to go there and change,
Yeah.
do the hard work of changing so that you can become the person that you need to be and that you can bring forth the work that you are called to bring forth.
Wow, Tamara, thank you. I mean, you are amazing. I mean, you
Oh,
literally are
thank you so
amazing.
much.
Your wisdom and your honesty and just speaking from a place of genuine care for those who are in the space. You've been blessed, obviously, to launch
Mhm.
out and what you do and the work you're doing is really incredibly important. And
Well,
so we
thank you.
really thank you so much for your work and thank you for taking time to the audience this morning. We've been blessed to hear from Tamara Fyke with BlueWonder Creative out of the Nashville, Tennessee area. She's got great things going on and going to do greater things. We are confident of that. Please look her up. And thank you so much for listening. And we hope you come back and listen to another episode on the Rhythm of Business with Terry Daniels. Thanks so much.